Imposter syndrome. What is it? Why does it happen? And how can you overcome it as a business owner or sales professional in order to get the results you want? My name is James White. I'm a small business sales expert and a man that loves motivating and helping inspire business owners and professionals everywhere to get better results. And in this video, I'm going to share with you one of the key problems and challenges that so many business people and people all over the world struggle with. And we're going to look at some tips and ideas on how to solve it to ensure you can get the results for you and your company that you want. Imposter syndrome. Let's tackle it. Let's have a look at the video. So imposter syndrome, what is it? Well, it's the simple thought process that you don't belong or you're not good enough at doing the thing that you do. An imposter is someone that comes into our world that shouldn't be there. And a lot of business owners face this challenge and they feel that they're not good enough. They shouldn't be the person that's doing that presentation or giving that coaching session or charging the amount of money for their time or their services because they're not good enough and they're not really deserving of this. And I work with a lot of business owners and it's a real challenge for people to have that confidence and belief, and it massively affects them that they just don't think it should be them. So what can we do about it? Firstly, the most important thing you can do is look for signs when it happens. And the signs when it happens are when we sometimes basically look for facts that aren't there. We look for things, for example, let's say we've put a video out or done something and one person said that they don't know something but 10 people have liked it. We focus on the one person that's disliked it rather than the 10 that have liked it. Or another example of imposter syndrome is where we feel that we don't belong because one person's rejected our proposal for a project, but yet other people have bought it. We think, oh, we're not good enough to do that, or we're not good at being able to make that happen, or we don't have the tools, the ability or the capabilities to do a certain task. But I'm not an expert and a scientific expert and a neuro-programming brain expert to help you overcome imposter syndrome. There are people like Tara Halliday who wrote a great book on imposter syndrome that I recommend you go and see if you're really struggling in that area. But here's a few things that I know that have helped me when I've been going through some of the times when I doubt myself or wonder whether I'm the right person to do a job or to do something. The first thing I've learned is to accept that absolutely the process of where I am right now is where I am right now. I was reading an article the other day about how US Marines get so tough and become the ability to do what they do in some of the most complicated situations of warfare. And one of the guys said, actually, what we realise is right now we are where we are, and that's the process that we're in, and we accept that it's not going to go on forever and we've got to deal with that situation. And sometimes you've just got to accept that there are certain days that are not as good as others. You're going to feel not as motivated as others, or you're not going to feel as positive as others. What do I do when I get to days like that? I look for tips and ideas and things that matter to me. So for example, my vision board, where I've got a vision of what I want to achieve. I've got a little casino chip that I use to motivate me and remind me of the good times and things that matter to me. I've got pictures of family and friends who are the reason why I do what I do. I've got pictures of custom testimonials with people who have quoted me and said that I've done helped them do things. Those are all the things that I use when I'm feeling at that stage when I'm not sure if I'm in the right frame of mind or feeling positive enough to do something. So do something yourself. Put those testimonials in place so you can see when you're not feeling good what 4 or 5 people did say about you. Or put that motivational picture or that image of you doing something for your family that's driving you to be that way. The key thing is we've got to be able to look at what motivates us and what drives us. And invariably it's our family and supporting them that's key. So know when you're feeling a bit down and a bit negative, focus on actually accepting it's where you are right now, and then look at those positives, whether it's a vision board, a picture, or an individual prop that you can use. So grab hold of that chip or that item, look at those pictures, review that vision board, and remember the reason why you're doing what you're doing. Use that as the motivation to make you realise that you can and you will. Point number 2 is this: stop trying to be perfect. This is an area where I will be honest with you, I really struggle with. When I do something, I want it to be the best that it can be. And I absolutely get annoyed and frustrated and wound up sometimes when something's gone exactly the way I want it to. For example, my wife will tell you, if we go to a hotel and the room's not exactly as I want, I get really arsey and I don't like it to be in that way. And the problem around that is that I then let all those other emotions and those feelings overcome me. Whereas the best thing to be able to do is to accept that things aren't going to be perfect, accept that things are the way they are, and accept that life's full of ups and downs. And when we accept that there is going to be good and there's an accept that there's going to be bad, and we accept it for what it is and try and enjoy the moment, we can actually deal with things more effectively. So stop trying to be perfect. When you've not achieved something, stop trying to beat yourself down and say that you can't. Just accept that it's part of the process. Some you win, some you lose. Someone once told me, some days you're the dog, some days you're the lamppost. It happens, it's the nature of the game. Be prepared to accept that there are ups and downs. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they have bad days as well as good days. It's not built in us all to just make sure every day is perfect. Accept it, understand it is what it is, and make sure that you don't beat yourself up. Don't try and become perfect. We're not perfect, we can't, we're all gonna make mistakes. It's part of life's rich tapestry. So another simple thing you can do is adjust some of the language that you might use in a certain situation. For example, I myself would, and I've said this before, I've got a goal or a target. But the problem about when you have a goal or a target is if you don't hit it, then what happens? You basically beat yourself up and say you weren't good enough, and then we start those feelings and worries of imposter syndrome coming through. And maybe a better way to look at it is have an aim. I'm going to aim to do this by this time. I'm going to aim to do this today. I'm going to aim to get this done over the period of the next 12 months. And with an aim, what it helps us then see is if we make progress in that direction but don't complete the task, then at least we're still moving forward rather than not moving at all. Some of the best images show that consistency over time, repeated actions, are what gets success. It's very rarely the immediate things, one-off things we can do. I learned earlier on, someone said to me that sales and marketing is like a boxing match. It's very rarely the knockout punch that does it. It's the regular blows, time and time again, consistency that make a difference. Moving forward, the hare and the tortoise, great example. It's not sometimes how quick you can do things, it's that consistent element over a period of time. So aim to use your language, aim to use an aim rather than a goal. Maybe be able to use something rather than a failure, something you learned from. Or be in a position where someone talks to you about something you haven't done, then maybe focus on things that you have done. The key thing is we've got to adjust our brains and program our minds to think in a different way if we're to overcome this imposter syndrome problem. And the way we do that is just adjust some language slightly, and it can hopefully have a better effect. One of the other things that happens in imposter syndrome is we look and just don't think we're relevant or right or good enough to do something. If I had £1 for every time someone says I can't charge that for that, I'd be a multi-millionaire. But one of the ways in which we've got to be able to see that is to show evidence of what we have done. So here's the thing I want you to do right now. I want you to stop this video, and I literally, after I've said these next few words, and then pause it and come back to it, I want you to write down the list of the top 15 achievements that you've had in your life. Write them down, the top 15 achievements. Whether it's you ran the marathon, whether it was you achieved the GCSE result you couldn't get, whether it's that you climbed a mountain on a holiday, whether it's the fact you booked the holiday in the first place, whether it's the fact you gave birth or sold your company, I don't care. Write down the top 15 achievements that you have done in your life. And I bet when you write them down and start to look at them, you start to go, wow, I have actually achieved things, I have done things. I once attended a course and the tutor told me, you've each got your own mountain of value. And sometimes we forget that we've actually achieved things and done them. We think of what we haven't done rather than look at what we have. So write down the things that you've done, write down your successes, your achievements. And by the way, if you can write down more than 15, do. Because what we're then going to do is when we feel those times when we're not getting well and we're feeling that we're not achieving things, we can have them printed out or have them on our phone or have them as a photo to look back and say, I did achieve things, I made a success in certain times, I did achieve, so therefore I can achieve whatever the next challenge is going to be. Write down those achievements and use them as a spur and a motivation to inspire you when you next feel a bit down, and hopefully it can overcome that feeling that you don't belong to make you think, I do, and I'm going to make this happen. But one of the other things I use to overcome that feeling sometimes when I don't feel confident or don't belong is I walk straight into the fear. You might think, what the hell are you on about, James? Why would I even do this? But trust me, just hear me out on this, it works. You're going to laugh at this, but I've got a phobia of monkeys. Yep, monkeys. Those sweet little creatures that everyone loves. Yep, you get a 6'3" big bloke in a room full of monkeys and I would be petrified. A few years back, I wanted to go on holiday though with an ex-girlfriend, and I was thinking, how can I basically ensure I go on holiday? We're going to go to safari in South Africa and experience great things out there. And I was like, I can't do it because I've got this phobia. I thought, no, the best way to do it is to walk into the phobia. What I did is I booked the holiday. I made sure I went to the hotel where monkeys were going to be. And what did I do to overcome it? I took some hypnotherapy, I took some programming lessons where I could program my brain. And by the way, if I do that right now, I'm in my bubble and the monkeys can't hurt me. Whatever it takes to get that reaction, you've got to be able to try and embrace the fear and move headlong into it. Most of the time with fear, when we think about things that we're going to do, they're never as bad as they seem. A few weeks back, I did a challenge which was a 1-mile swim, 10-mile run, 100-mile bike ride. Before I was doing it, I was dreading it, thinking it was going to be a nightmare, whatever. I took it one step at a time, one bit at a time, one part at a time, and by the end of the day, I'd done it. Fear gets in the way, it stops us from doing things, but it's never as bad as it seems. To take small steps, little things you can do time and time again to be in a position to overcome those challenges and walk straight into the fear. Put yourself in that position and say to yourself, I'm going to overcome it. Talk to yourself, I'm going to overcome it. It won't last, it won't part, it will pass. And what you'll find is it's never as bad as it seems. By walking into the fear, when I go into that safari place with the monkeys, yeah, I felt a little bit strange still, but I felt comfortable. I was able to address my fear, and boy, did I feel good for it. When you tackle a fear head on and deal with something that you think is affecting you, it makes you feel good. So I'm going to be honest with you and say that's what affected me, it's what helped me deal with the challenges, and I encourage you to do the same thing. Write down one of the two of those fears and what can you do to walk headlong into them, to overcome them. Try it and see, let me know in the comment section below as to how you get on. A lot of the time we worry about people that aren't actually really important in our lives, and we worry what they'll think and what they'll say about us and what they'll do. So we're going to do a little experiment. I'd like you to draw a circle, okay? And I'd like you to draw a number of circles inside of that. So you've got 4 or 5 circles. And I'm going to get you to do this activity, which I believe can help you overcome that imposter syndrome feeling. If something was to happen major in your life now, let's call it a real crisis, something was a major, the shit hits the fan, excuse my French, who would you call? Who would be the first people in that group? Number one, in your middle of your core of your onion, let's call it, that would be the first person you'd call or first group of people you'd call. Who would you ring if that major problem happened? And who are those people, and write them down. And then write down maybe the next layer. Who's in layer 2? Who are the next people that you would call? Who are the people that you'd literally then ring in to say, I've got this major problem and trying to deal with it? And see who's on that list. And let's say that in that list, you've got 5 to 10, 15 people, I don't know, that's on that list. And I'm going to tell you now, other people, layers 3, 4, 5, 6, they won't be there for you in your moment of need. In your moment of crisis, when shit hits the fan and things are going completely wrong, they're not going to be there. You're not going to call them. So why worry about what they have to say? Too much of imposter syndrome is worrying about layers 3, 4, 5, people that wouldn't even be there in our lives, that wouldn't be there to support us at our darkest hours of need. So why are you worrying about what they think and say when they're not going to be there for you? Try and put those people in layer 1 and layer 2 in your forefront of your mind, and actually focus on those people and their thoughts and what you would do to encourage and support. Hopefully these people are supportive of you and what you're doing, and they benefit you and they nourish you and help you. But the others outside of that, do you know what? If they're going to comment or say you can't do something, or say that you're not right or that you're not good enough to do something, let them be. They're not there for you at your hour of need, and so don't worry about them. That's what I do. I generally focus and think, I'm not going to worry about those people. I'm going to focus on who I am and the people that really matter to me. And when you do that, things start to get into perspective. Let me know, or do that exercise. See who's in the core of your onion. And if they're outside layers 1 and 2, forget about them. Don't let them affect what you're trying to do. Chances are they're jealous, or they feel frustrated themselves, or they've got their own insecurities. Don't let them affect you. Try it. It's a great method to overcome feelings of doubt and make you really focus on what matters and who matters most to you. And the final point about imposter syndrome, which I really encourage you to do, is talk to someone. Go and get yourself a mentor, or someone that's a coach or an advisor, or someone that you work with that you trust and you value and you love having a chat about things. When we've got those people in our life, it can be a friend or someone you look up to, or a business mentor, whoever it is, things just become better in life. We get to know them, they get to know us, and we feel that we can share things with them and share what you're feeling. If you're feeling an imposter, a situation where you don't feel you belong, or you're having doubts or confidence issues, share it with them. Share the times. What are the trigger points that cause that to happen? Those people are there to support you and help you overcome it. And what they'll hopefully try and do is give you tips and ideas, or recommend situations that you can overcome it yourself and get you where you want to be. The reality is, with any situation, you have a choice. You have a choice as to whether you deal with the issue and tackle it and get where you want to be in your life, and whatever that means for you and your family, or whether you let the issue beat you. You have a choice to be eaten or to eat. And I believe you, as a business professional, a sales professional, can take that choice on board. You can eat what you need to. You can take control, deal with the situation, deal with the issues that are causing you problems, and overcome them and get where you want to be. Imposter syndrome is one of those things that can get us down if we're not careful. It can make us think we don't belong. But do you know what? I'm always going to believe in what I do and how I do it. And I've got that belief, not because sometimes I'm ultra confident and I was born that way, but I've backed myself over time. I've been through the tough times. I've walked headlong into the challenges. And more importantly, I've listened to the people I care about who've backed me and supported me and believe in me. Do the same. Make sure you write down the achievements. Focus on these layer 1 and 2. Walk into the challenges. Realise what matters to you. And hopefully you can overcome imposter syndrome and achieve the sales and business success that I hope and know you can. Let me know in the comment section if this has helped you. If it has, let's share it with other people. Let's help them overcome their confidence and challenging issues and get the results that they all want. Like, subscribe to the channel, make sure everyone's got access to it so we get as many people feeling great and achieving goals and targets and aims as we talked about, that help them achieve and make them feel happy and good about where they are in life. Thanks for watching the video. See you next Saturday, and hopefully we'll tackle another big issue then.